back to the shop where nothing ever breaks. That's right. Nothing ever breaks here. Ever. Right, Joe?
Right.
Nothing ever breaks. So we broke Joe. He's laying on the ground there like a beached whale on cardboard. The libtards haven't come to shove him back into the water yet, but while he's there, we decided to put him to work putting in new teeth in the front of the Krone baler. Pickup teeth, you know, pickup teeth. Sharks have teeth. I don't think whales do, but if you stab your head, they have like fibrous things in there.
Like bristles.
Yeah, bristles, like a brush. And I think that's what they used to brush, people used to brush their hairs with, you know, years back in the day, was bristles from the whale's teeth. Now, I think you'd better watch yourself because those things are bloody sharp.
Yeah.
So climb your ass up in there and get it done. So, because nothing ever breaks, Joe is just doing this for sheer fun, shits and giggles, as we call it here in the shop where nothing ever breaks. And I, ladies and gentlemen, are working on the plunger. Now, as you may or may not know, this baler has somewhere around 40,000 bales, plus or minus 3,000 or 4,000 bales. And what happens with these balers when they get that many bales through them, they start to wear things out. And the things that wear out first are the most common, like the plunger roller. Now, this roller is big, it's mean, and it costs a lot of money. This is $104 for this piece. Yep, I'm going to let you know how much it costs, just so you know that something that you hold in your hand, it weighs maybe 3 pounds, is $104. It's all in the machining and the shipping of the thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to... It was a bit of a bastard to get this out, so I didn't film it. But I will film the next one when I take the next one out, because it was that much of a pain in the ass. It took more of a thinking. It was more of a thinking problem than it was an actual, pain in the ass. So once I figured that it was worn, or once I figured out how to get it out of there, I went ahead and I pulled it out, and I decided that I would show you later. But you can obviously see the wear on this roller. Now, it looks like it's got plenty of life on it, right? Well, that problem is the exact reason the Heston baler is down in the field right now waiting to be repaired, because the rollers were worn out, and every time it made a plunger stroke, it was like a hammer going bang, bang, bang. Well, you do that 50,000 times in a day. Eventually, you're going to start to bend and break stuff. And that's what happened with the Heston. It broke a bolt. And when it broke that bolt, it allowed play. And it was no longer a rigid piece like they have here on the Krone. See, the Krone has a very similar system. It has a bolt that holds on to a rail that is bolted. The Krone is way better than what the Heston is, because it's a solid piece, whereas the Heston is a C-channel, like a 3/16" C-channel with nowhere near this the grommets or the weldments and support that it needs to keep that thing from falling apart. So this one started to hammer, and it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. And you can see right there on that rail, which I'm going to have to replace this rail, is a very deep groove or score. So what I'm doing first is I'm going to change these wheels so that it doesn't do that anymore. And I have on order a new piece of rail. The bottom is fine. I don't even feel anything on the bottom. It's just at the top. So as that thing continues to hammer and hammer and hammer, eventually it is going to break something and cause me a major ass ache that I don't need. So what I've done is I've got this out. I'm leaving that bearing in there for now. There's a bearing with a seal that goes on, and when you put it all together, it will press that back into place. And I actually probably should just pull that right out of there, which I may do. I probably will just pull that out of there and cause it, put it all together as one. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. It's amazing how much wear is there. But I could hear it clunking, and I don't want to happen to the Krone as to what happened to the Heston. So that's why I'm doing this job, and I'm going to get on to it right. Okay, so we got this little learning thing going on here. You know, learning, I'm a teacher, and you, my ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen and lady, because it's usually just about 5% of you are women, and I think out of that 5% of the women, there's only like 0.05% that actually watch, and the rest are their boyfriends. So, I have this little problem. It's called an O-ring. This O-ring goes in this groove on this cap, and what this does is it keeps the grease from coming out the end of the cap and actually filling up the bearings inside. That's what its job is, to fill the bearings. They're tapered roller bearings inside. Well, I need to keep that thing tight while I insert it into, hold on a second. Into one of these rollers. Well, you can see there's a groove here, right here. I hope you can see it inside there. And that thing goes through that groove. And when you compress the O-ring actually expands. It expands to the point where it goes in that groove, and then when you push it farther, it tries to cut your O-ring off. That didn't sound good. You don't want to cut your O-ring off. So what I've decided to do is
worse than blowing a seal.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to blow a seal. That's not good. Could be worse than blowing a seal. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wrap this thing with electrical tape. Okay? Alright. So now that my hands are good and greasy and nothing will ever stick to it, I'm going to wrap this thing. I may have to clean it up with starting fluid there before I get it on there, because you know how this shit is. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a wrap of this electrical tape on here like so, and I'm going to break it off like so. And now I'm hoping, now I've never done this before, so this is a first for me as well. I'm going to stuff this thing up in that hole, and Joe is going to hold the camera while I do this bit of nonsense. And we'll see if my idea works. Because if it does, yay. If it doesn't, oh well. I start over and find a new way. Right, Joe?
Right.
Alright. So this is the little bastard right here. Now I've taken the bolt out, or the cap screw as you would call it. Hello. Now, hopefully, I can just pull that tape right off of there. And yes. So there, I learned something, and you learned something. That's how you get it through a groove. Worked out good, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, it did. So now all I have to do is play with this little bastard. When I call this thing a little bastard, it's actually a big bastard, but it's a pain in the ass. Because I have to compress this and then shove it up in there.
It's a fat bastard.
Oh, give me your baby. Put them in Tim's belly. It's big enough. Now that's what that was.
Did he just say that? That one only farmer is so mean.
That's the 0.5%. That's where I lose my female audience with my weirdness. Oh!
It's under the pickup.
Joe did it. Yep. As he pokes his eye out.
Okay. You can only hope.
You don't want to poke your eye out.
Well, why? Eye patches look badass.
Yeah.
But you're a loser if you don't actually need one.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm going to do it on purpose. Yeah. So you just gotta, you just gotta hope.
Just get that cat from that movie, Captain Marvel. How was that thing called? A fluffy thing?
A flirkin?
Flirkin. Quit jerking your flirkin. A flirkin. So, how'd you lose that eye? I trusted someone. So what's your name? Flurry. Fury, right?
Yeah.
What's your first name? They call me Fury. You have any children? No, not yet. If you did, what would they call you? Fury. Okay. Holy cow, that was easy. Okay.
On the third try.
Now what I have to do is real simple. This is just a Tim broke something. Stop breaking shit.
Goddamn spring. This time on the bottom. Actually, it's been broken.
And the saga continues. What did you do? All right, so I'm gonna put a Zerk in there and shoot a bunch of grease into that thing, and then move on to the next one. The next one will go about half as fast, or twice as fast, half as slow. as long as I'm putting it in there. Yeah, you can see the clear, what do you call it, wear on the...
Oh, you tell them, Will. I know nothing about tools. I know how to raise cute baby, like, oh, you giving me a flying kiss?
I have a lifetime of knowledge stuck in my skull.
This one.
That's needle nose vice grips, yes. They have large, medium, and small ones, too. These are the medium.
Oh, it's like a Japanese, Filipinos, and American.
Well, I don't know. I've never actually seen a Japanese or a Filipino's, needle nose pliers, but this is neat. So the job is done. I'm just going to show you what I got here. They're all put in. Those bolts that are on there are just blanks. You put that plate is pretty thick. So what you do is you take that out and you can put a grease zerk in there and force grease into it, and life will be good, according to Allah. But anyway, no, I'm just joking, according to the Krone gods. So anyway, so 4 of those went in. The upper rail has some hammering over there on that rail, where it was it right there? You can see it. It's going to have to be replaced. I can get away with it for now, but I'm going to order it. It's just a flat piece of steel. That's it. So I will order a new rail for the upper part, and they will come right out of there. I hope. I'm hoping I don't have to tear anything else off. But you take the 4 bolts out, and I'm pretty certain that it will just go clink right out the side. You slide the new one in, and you're good to go. Probably it is warm. Okay, he's going to start it up. It's now dark outside. I just want to hear this thing go. Wow. That made quite the difference. I don't think I have to replace those rails at this point. Much, much better. That's quiet. Before it was going ba-bang, ba-bang, ba-bang every time. You don't hear that banging now. Oh, I don't hear it either. That's good. Awesome. That's perfect. Okay. Got that fixed. We put new tines in. A bunch of new tines in. Everything's working quite well. You know, if you ever got caught in that thing, it's good night, Irene. Make sure you're right on the side. Do not torque in half. Just run me through. That actually worked out really nice. Don't do that. Don't even think about that shit.